Yo, what is good with y'all boys? It's me, Swoofo here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, today's going to be showing you guys the ultimate ride progression guide inside of Fisch. Now, before I get to this video, make sure you guys do smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, as I would really appreciate it, and it does help out the channel a lot. But yeah, let's not waste no more time and get directly into the video. Alright guys, now getting into this rod progression guide, if you guys don't know how progression works, there's basically a bunch of stages that you'll have to go to get each rod. So there are 12 stages in the game currently, and starting off with our stage 1 rod, which is going to be our very early game rod. It's going to be located at Moosewood. The first rod we're going to end up going for is going to be the carbon rod. Now, as you guys can see, this rod has decent stats. We're going to pull it up right here. It has 15% lure speed, 25% lug, 0.05 control, 10% resilience, 600 kg, and it's a pretty decent starter rod. You can like get it for 2,000 credits, and you can get all them credits literally by just fishing here. So this is going to be the first rod you're going to end up getting inside of this progression guide, your very early game rod. And now we can end up moving on to our stage 2 rod. All right, you guys, now moving on to the next rod we're going to end up going for from Moosewood. Basically what you're going to want to end up doing is saving up enough money to get yourself a boat. And once you do get yourself a boat, hop on the boat, and you're going to want to literally just go directly straight. Now you're going to go straight until you see this island called Rosslet Bay. There'll be a big old pinpoint at the top of the map. Basically you're going to want to end up going over to the left side, as you guys can see. Now once we are here, basically we're just going to want to go over here to where this blacksmith is at, and then you're going to see the next rod, which is going to be the steady rod. It's going to be 7,000 credits, and if you don't have that amount of credits, you could literally go over here and just grind fishes until you end up getting 7,000 credits. But once you do end up getting those credits, come back and buy this rod. It's a very good rod. As you guys can see, minus 60% lure speed, so kind of a bad lure speed, but it does have 35% lug, 0.05 control, 30% resilience, and it can max kg catch 250,000 fish, which are really big fish that sell for a lot of money. So this is going to be the next rod you're going to end up going for. A very solid rod to get after the carbon rod, and yeah, we can end up moving on to the next rod we're going to get. All right guys, now moving on to the next rod, basically what we're going to end up doing is from Rosslet Bay, what you're going to want to do is just head completely straight. So you're just going to want to head straight, and then you're kind of going to go like westward. So just make a left right here. You're going to basically be heading to this island called Ancient Isles. Okay, so literally just go straight from Rosslet Bay. You're basically going to have a straight shot there. Now you do have to be a little bit careful when you are sailing up to this island, because there are a bunch of rocks that can hurt your boat and then make you drown and stuff. So yeah, just be a little careful, do a little bit of swooping and turning and stuff, but eventually you will get here. So yeah. Alright guys, now once you are here at this island, basically what you're going to want to end up doing is going over to these zip lines, and then you're going to want to end up ziplining your way all the way to the top of the island. So literally just follow this little path, climb up these rocks right here, as you guys can see where I'm going right now, and then basically you can end up getting up here very easily. So just come up here, there's going to be a ladder right here, go up there, and then you can just follow these zip lines all the way to the back, and then it'll take you over to where we're going to get this rod at. Alright guys, now once you do end up making your way up here, basically what you're going to want to do is go all the way to the top of the island and pretty much just end up going all the way back. So kind of zoom out a little bit so you kind of know where you're going, but pretty much we're looking for this little area right here. It's going to be directly behind you, and then you're going to see a totem right here. You're going to see a fragment right there, and then you're going to see the next rod we're going to end up getting. It's going to be 50,000 credits. It's going to be the Phoenix rod. This is a very good rod. As you guys can see, 55% lure speed, 80% lug, 0.02 control, 15% resilience, and 8,000 kilograms, and it does have a 40% chance to give you the ablaze mutation, and then a 10% chance to give you the other one. Both of those are 3 times multiplier mutation, so it's going to be very solid for this stage in the game. And yeah, that's going to be the next rod. Very good rod. Of course, if you don't have 50,000 credits, you could always fish here. This is a pretty good spot, and yeah, we're going to end up moving on. Now moving on to the next rod, basically there's a couple of stage 4 rods you can end up going for. You could go for the Blade of Glurk, which is a good rod, the Silly Fun rod, but probably the easiest and best rod at this point in the game would definitely be the King's rod, which is the rod we're going to end up going for. Now the reason I would pick this rod over the Glurp rod or the Silly Fun rod is simply because it's a lot easier to get this rod, and you'll probably be able to rack up enough money to basically get to stage 5 faster by just getting this rod. But all that yap aside, go over here to the Statue of Sovereignty, talk to Cole, buy yourself a token, and then go in this elevator ladder, or if you guys did end up buying the permanent one, which is a brand new thing that they added, you could just go down here for free. Now once you are down here, basically just hook left, and then you could end up getting the King's rod, and as you guys can see, it's going to be 100,000 credits. It's a pretty expensive rod, but yeah, I mean, you could just do a little bit of fishing, and eventually you'll be able to get it. As you guys can see, pretty good stats, 30% lure speed, 85% luck, 0.15 control, 35% resilience. Best thing about this rod is probably the infinite kg and the fact that fishes are 30% bigger. And if you guys do have some enchant relics, you definitely can put them on the King's rod. Definitely get yourself some very big fish. So yeah, overall this is a pretty good rod to end up having, and this is definitely a rod I would definitely recommend you end up getting. But let's move on to the next rod. Alright guys, now moving on to the next rod we're going to end up going for is going to be the Rainbow Cluster rod. This is one of the best stage 5 rods inside of the entire game, and like a medium difficulty rod to get, but regardless of that, it's still one of the best in the game, one of the coolest looking as well. But pretty much what we're gonna end up doing is heading over to Castaway Cliffs, which is right behind the Statue of Sovereignty. So just end up going over here to Castaway Cliffs, and basically once you are here, we're gonna end up heading over to the backside. So if you don't know where the backside is, you're just gonna want to go past this pond that everybody used to fish at, because this was the best fishing spot in the game. And then you're gonna want to end up climbing up these ladders or jumping up these rocks, whatever you want to do. But basically just climb up these ladders until you end up getting over here. You're gonna want to see this house. Now on the left is gonna be like a cave that is kind of boarded up, and you're just gonna want to jump inside of here, and it's gonna end up taking you over to the secret area. Now once you are here, you'll end up seeing the rod posted up right here if there is a rainbow event happening. Now if there's not a rainbow weather event happening, you could just spam sundial totems until this rainbow weather event happens. Or in new to the game, you can end up crafting totems as well. But yeah, pretty much you can buy this rod for 250,000. When you see a rainbow event, it'll be right here, and it has pretty good stats. So as you guys can see, 65% lure speed, 180% luck, 0 control, 25% resilience, and max kg 50,000. And you could get the rainbow mutation, which I think is like a 5-6 times multiplier, if I'm not sure. I don't know how much it is after like the multipliers nerf, but it's pretty high. It's pretty good. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be a very solid mid game rod, your stage 5 rod. And now we could end up moving on to the next rod. Alright guys, now moving on to our stage 6 rod. The next rod we're going to be going for is going to be the Toxic Spire rod, which is going to be our first craftable rod inside of this progression guide. Now basically what you're going to want to do from Moosewood is head back to Ancient Isles, like we ended up heading over there earlier, if you've seen that part of the video. But basically just end up heading back to Ancient Isles. It's right behind Moosewood. It's a little distance away, and there's going to be a couple of rocks there. Now once you do end up making it there, basically you have to end up going down into the crafting area, which is behind the waterfall. Now you do have to collect 4 relics, and basically they're going to be scattered around the map. You can get it by like fishing, and then there's one you could collect on the back, one you could use like the solar blaze temple thing, whatever it is. But basically you're gonna want to collect these 4 little fragments around the map. There are like plenty of ways to end up doing it, but once you end up collecting those 4 little fragments, you can end up heading inside of here and then climbing down inside of the waterfall, and pretty much you'll end up seeing what I'm talking about in a second. Once we get down here, there's gonna be these 4 little spires. You put the relics in each one, the blue one, the purple one, the blue one we ended up seeing earlier. Do that, and then it'll unlock the crafting area. Now once you are here inside of the ancient archives, you're just gonna want to carefully glide your way through here until you end up making it over to the anvil. Okay, so once you do end up making it over to this anvil, that's where we're gonna end up being able to craft the rods at. And then here's the Toxic Spire rod. Now I will say this is a pretty difficult rod to craft, I'm not gonna lie, because of just the mutations and stuff. Not even difficult for that say, it's just annoying. But you get this from the jungle area. It's all the way over across the map. Then there's the poison driftwood. You end up getting this from mutating a regular driftwood that you can catch from anywhere, and then a murky thread, which you also get from the jungle area. But yeah, as you guys can see, you'll end up getting the Toxic Spire rod. This is a very, very good rod. 87% lure speed, 248% luck, 0.3 control, minus 20% resilience, 100,000 kg, 20% progress speed, and yeah, as you guys can see, you have a 15% chance to catch the toxic mutation, and this is a very good mutation. I believe it's like 8 times multiplier or something like that. Very, very good. But yeah, we can end up moving on after this. All right guys, now moving on to our next rod. Basically what you're going to want to do is head down into the Luminescent biome, and pretty much it's going to be by Desolate Deep. But once you are down here, pretty much what you have to end up doing is completing this entire bestiary. So just complete the entire bestiary. It's not too difficult, to be honest, but once you do end up completing the whole bestiary, you'll be able to buy this rock called the Luminescent Oath. Now this is $1 million, but by the time you end up completing this bestiary, you will basically have enough money to end up getting it. And as you guys can see, it has 85% lure speed, 100% luck, 0.1 control, 12% resilience, and 25,000 max kg. Now the good thing about this rod is if you do end up perfect catching a fish, you will be able to guarantee to get the master mutation. So yeah, as you guys can see, I'm gonna just show y'all right quick. I usually wouldn't show y'all like little rod, I guess, guides or anything like during the progression guide, but I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. Once you end up catching a fish or anything, it's gonna give you the master mutation, which is the 9 times multiplier, which is very, very good, and it's 100% if you know how to catch your fishes. So definitely, if you are good, this is one of the best rods to get at this point in the game. But we can end up moving on to our stage 8 rod. All right guys, now moving on to our stage 9 rod. Basically you have to end up going over here and collecting a crimson sea dragon. So collect the sea dragon and then end up mutating it until you end up getting a crimson sea dragon, and then you're gonna want to talk to this red mushroom guy. He'll basically let you inside of here, and then this is where we're gonna end up finding our next rod at. So once you are swimming through here, you're basically gonna be inside of the crimson biome. Now this is a pretty good biome, and there is another rod that you will get here, but that's gonna be later. Basically we're gonna be going for the evil pitchfork rod. So in order to get this, you have to go up here to this mushroom guy. He's gonna ask you to end up completing his quest line, and then he'll end up giving you this sigil to end up crafting this rod. And in order to do that, all you have to do is complete these little mushroom guys quests. So as you guys can see, this guy is Wixie, and some of them will ask you to like just collect plants. Very easy to collect crystals, maybe fish up specific fishes, but these are very easy quests. And once you do end up doing the quest, you can end up going back and talking to the mushroom guy, and then he'll basically give you the sigil, and then we can end up going over to the crafting area to craft our stage 9 rod. Guys, now once you are back by the anvil, you can end up crafting this rod over here. As you guys can see, it's going to be 2.5 million, but this is an insanely good rod. It's going to give you a bunch of buffs. So let's just go ahead and just check this out. I already crafted it. As you guys can see, 150% lure speed, so instant lure, 120% luck, minus 0.1 control, minus 10% resilience, but it does have infinite kg, and it does have plus 35% progress speed. And the good thing about this rod is it can give you like really big fish multipliers, so you can have like 5 times the fish size plus all of the multipliers you get. It's a bunch of really good multipliers. It's a very good rod. A lot of people use this for admin abuses and stuff to catch super big fishes. So yeah, this is a very solid rod you could end up getting at this point in the game, and I definitely would recommend going for this. But finally we can end up moving on. Alright guys, now moving on to the next rod. There's a couple of rods you can end up going for stage 10. You could always go for the wind elemental or the Nerifalx, but I think the best stage 10 rod in my personal opinion is the Ruinous Oath, although I think this is probably the most difficult out of all of them to get. Basically we have to end up completing this entire crimson bestiary, but every single fish has to be shiny and sparkling. Now as you guys can tell, that's pretty difficult, but you can just mutate these fishes until you end up getting shiny and sparkling. So I wouldn't say too crazy, but once you do end up doing that, you can buy this rod for 5 million credits. And as you guys can see, this is a very solid rod. Excuse the you know, the mastery, I don't have that completed, but yeah, 95% lure speed, 500% luck, 0.08 control, 25% resilience, infinite kg, and it has the same little thing that the blue one does, except you could basically catch big fishes. So it has slashes, and you could end up getting the master mutation guaranteed if you know how to catch fish. So yeah, if you are pretty good, this is definitely going to be the rod for you. This is going to be one of them rods that you can really rack up that money as fast as possible. But yeah, one of the best rods inside of the entire game, definitely worth all the money, and we can end up moving on. Alright guys, now moving on to the next rod we're going to be going for is going to be the Dream Breaker rod. So in order to get this rod, basically you have to end up heading down into the cultist lair, and then you're going to want to end up going over here until you see this guy right here. Now basically you have to complete this entire area and do all of the quests, and basically the quests are returning the Dreamer's Amulet, returning a Lucid Enchant Relic, returning a Speed Core, a Lucid Catholid, a Phantom Catholid, a Lucid Leviathan, or a Profane Leviathan, and then paying $5 million to end up getting this rod and being level 500. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I definitely did not finish this update right here. I'm actually on the last quest of it, returning the Lucid Leviathan or the Profane Leviathan, but I am gonna pull up this picture of the rod right now, and basically you can end up seeing the stats. So it's gonna have 120% lure speed, 215% luck, 0.23 control, 66% resilience, and it's gonna have infinite max kg. Basically the good part about this rod is every single fish you catch is gonna be 50% bigger. So if you throw out like Sea Overlord or Sea Pritz, it's gonna make every single fish super big, like giant or like massive and stuff. And then on top of that, you won't have a chance to get the Distraught mutation, which is a 9.5x mutation, which is insanely good. So you're gonna get really big fishes with insane multipliers, and this is why this is one of the stage 11 rods, just because of how insane all of the multipliers and stuff is for this rod. So yeah, as you guys can see, it's one of the best rods inside of the entire game. This quest line does take a little minute to end up completing, but yeah, that's gonna be it for this rod. And now we can end up moving on to the final rod, which is gonna be our stage 12 rod. Alright guys, now moving on to the last rod, and probably one of the most difficult rods to get inside of the entire game, is going to be the Fabulous rod. Now in order to get this, basically you have to end up making your way to the calm zone and climbing all the way up here until you end up seeing the spirit. Now basically the spirit is going to give you the rod, but you have to do a bunch of quests to end up getting the rod. So in order to do it, you're just going to want to end up talking to the spirit. He'll give you a quest. Basically I'm going to just name off all the quests you're going to end up getting. So the first one is going to be to catch sparkly shiny fish, handfish, sunken mutated sharks, and then sparkling nova frozen walnuts. So that's just the first quest. This is a very hefty quest line. Then you have to catch 200 Dumbo octopuses. You have to catch a sunken ancient depth serpent, a shiny rainbow cluster voltfish, which is the second quest line. Then for the third quest, you have to catch 1 sunken spectral serpent, 30 baby pond emperors, 3 sunken brine phantoms, and then for the finale, you have to end up catching a shiny rainbow cluster, crystallized sea dragon, a sunken skilla, and a shiny mosaic whale shark, and then giving all of this to the famous deity. And then once you do end up doing that, you'll be able to obtain this rod, but you have to be level 1000 to end up doing all this. As you guys can see, I'm level 1000 on this account right here. So yeah, once you end up doing that, you're gonna get the rod. This is a very good rod. Again, I don't have this rod simply just due to the fact that I honestly did not even feel like doing all this, but yeah, I'm gonna just pull it up right here. 100% lure speed, 500% lug, 0 control, a bunch of resilience, bunch of max kg. I can't even see that. 50% resilience and infinite kg. And yeah, as you guys can see, an insanely good rod. One of the best inside of the entire game. Your fishes are also 25% the size, and this rod has slashes, so this is one of the best rods inside of the entire game. Plus the fabulous mutation, which is a 9.3x multiplier. Get that 25% of the time. I don't think it's better than the Dream Breaker, to be honest, but it is the end game is rod and one of the best inside the game, entire game. Also, it does have 200% progress speed, so I mean, I guess if you want to catch fishes a lot faster, this is the best rod in game. It's up to debate, but this is the fabulous rod right here. And yeah, guys, that's gonna end up wrapping up the video right here. I hope you guys ended up enjoying the video. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos coming up with the Fish Christmas event. But yeah, it's your boy Soulful here, and I'm out. Bye.